What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Millertime Monday Show. I'm Austin. Our guest today is an artist, a vocalist, a Twitch streamer, and just an all-around cool dude. He goes by Eyes the Artist. That's I the Artist on all social media platforms, as far as I know. Is that right?
That's correct. I think Instagram is I dot the artist.
It's an interesting one to have different.
I couldn't. It was already taken.
Gotcha.
Someone stole it.
All right, well, there you go. Uh, Dude, you are such a creative individual.
Thank you. I'd like to
Like,
believe so.
well, the ideas that you come up with whenever you're composing music on stream or trying to record stuff on stream
Mhm.
are really out there sometimes, and I dig the shit out of that.
What do you mean by out there? I'm curious. Like, can you think of an example off the top of your head?
Yeah, man. So you've got, I don't remember the name of the song, but you had a song that you were working on one time when I came in, and you had this really sick tapping part for guitar that you were working on.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a couple of those.
And it's not like it wasn't like it wasn't behind a chorus, it wasn't its own like little solo section. You were just like, I'm gonna put this here, and you dropped it in a spot on the song, and it fit well. It was great. But like, I don't think I know anyone who would have been like, yeah, I'm gonna tap the shit out of this guitar right here.
Yeah, I think it's probably released by now. That I think that you might be thinking The Wall. That's out on
Yeah, that sounds
all
right.
platforms right now, and it's during like the final breakdown of the song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just super sick. And you've done a lot of things like that, and some of the bass lines that you come up with, I'm like, ooh, stanky.
Oh, thank you. I'm not
So
even like a huge. I know how to play bass,
mhm.
but I am careful to call myself knowledgeable about being a bassist because I feel like someone who actually
Mhm.
does play bass for almost like a living or in a band would probably look at. I'm have an idea sometimes that they would look at how I play bass or some of the things I write and be like, you could do so much more, or you're doing things a little unorthodox, like playing with a pick. I kind of get some flack with that every now and again, but I know
I
in
think,
metal that's kind of standard anyway.
yeah, I was gonna say, where in my world, like, that's fucking normal.
Yeah, it's, for me too, and it gives a more raw sound, a more gritty sound out of the bass too.
Yeah, you get
To me,
more and I don't know if people just don't like this in other styles or whatever, but I feel like when you play with a pick, you get a little more top end out of your bass, like
I think so
tonally.
too.
It doesn't
Yeah,
sound like, it doesn't sound as low, or I guess
or
as,
muffled.
yeah, that's where I'm going for. It doesn't sound as muffled or as muddy, which I'm a big fan of. I like a good pick sound on a bass.
Me too.
So
Yeah, same here. I'm very proud of my bass lines. I'm glad to hear that you like them, and hopefully other people do too, because
well,
I try to make them dynamic.
yeah, they move. You don't just follow the guitar or whatever the chord progression is,
Mhm.
which is different than the way a lot of people play bass these days, especially when you get into stuff like metal or whatever. Obviously, you do a little bit more progressive stuff, so it's a little more
Yeah,
common in your area.
yeah, mine's
Um,
like post-hardcore progressive
mhm.
metal. Probably closest to what I'd like to call swan, or what is known as swancore.
Yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Oh, if
So
you say for sure, that makes me feel good. I'm like, I'm hitting the mark. That's
yeah,
good.
you're in there. I mean,
There's
the
a
first.
playlist on Spotify that my friend sent me. It's called Swancore Final Boss, and I made it on that playlist.
Oh,
I'm
that's
like, "Oh,
dope.
sick. I'm one of the final bosses? Sweet." That makes it feel really good.
That's super sick. Oh yeah, you heard it here. Swancore Final Boss playlist. Go check out Eyes.
That's
Uh,
right.
yeah, dude. The first time I ever popped into your stream, actually, I came in off of a raid. Um, right
With
out of
Moon.
an yeah, out of an interview, which is
Yep, I remember that.
things are coming full circle.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think the when I first popped in, you were, if it wasn't that stream when I popped in, it was the next day when I came back. You were actually recording like a funky ass bass line. So
Yep, probably. I love recording instruments on stream. I don't always get the chance to do it because I try to finish songs in steps on stream. Like right now,
mm,
I'm working on a song called Houston, we have a problem. Mercury's in retrograde, and I've gotten all the instruments pretty much done, and now I'm working on the unclean vocals, the screaming, and then mixing. It's a whole process. Songs take a long time for me to get done.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because I feel like you're a little bit of a perfectionist,
Yeah, for being an anti-perfectionist, right?
and you have this whole thing that's anti-perfectionist gang. So
Yes,
can you tell
absolutely.
us, can you tell me a little more about that? Like what brought on the anti-perfectionist gang and what exactly does that mean to you?
To me, I sort of came up with it. I sort of saw it online, but really adapted it to something that I wanted to build myself. I The best way I can state it is I sat on a 7-track EP that's on my Spotify as well. It's called Are You Listening? It's
Mhm.
a lot more indie pop kind of type. It's a lot more mellow. And I sat on it for so long, years. Like one of the songs on there, the opening song, I wrote in 2018 and I didn't release the album until 2023. So it was such a long time that I was trying to get things perfected and 7 songs trying to get everything right. And I was over that style by that point. I wanted to move on to what I'm currently doing, which is the
Mhm.
progressive metal swancore. And at some point when I finally got it done, I felt the relief of having the album done and knowing that there were some slight imperfections that I would find later down the road.
Mhm.
And then I saw a video on YouTube about perfection and how people put hashtag perfectionist in their Instagram bio and stuff like that. And I was like, it'd be funny to put hashtag anti-perfectionist in my Instagram bio instead. And at that point, I was like, huh, all right, cool. That I guess that can be my crew's name on Twitch. You know what I mean? The whole crew. And at that point, I sort of adapted that to my mentality of understanding that things aren't going to be perfect, and it makes writing music a lot more fun, producing, mixing, mastering, everything just a lot more easy on me because I know that a couple years down the line, I'll go back and listen to my music and be like, there could have definitely been tweaks there, but it was good enough at the time. And it's helped me really release so many more songs than I used to in the past because I just get it done and like how it sounds and put it out.
Hell yeah. That's an awesome mentality to have. I do that shit all the time where you were talking about going back and hearing things, oh, this could have been tweaked or I could have done this.
Yeah.
Dude, I my the first song I ever put out under this project was the first thing I ever did every part of all by myself. And
Hmm.
now every time I hear it now, I hear a different thing that I'm like, I should have done this or I could have
I
changed
know.
that. Dude, it's
Yeah.
so frustrating.
Yep.
But
But
it's
it's
like it's
kind of
out.
fun. Like,
So,
yeah, it's fun. Like the more you listen to like you go from your most recent back to an earlier release, like for Eyes, you know what I mean? My
mhm,
project with the post-hardcore stuff. I listen to The Wall and go back to Cola Coca and Empty Fuel, which was the release before that. Then
mhm,
I think Blank Page was before that. Then Guy Like That was the very first progressive release that I had.
mhm.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, it sounds it's good. I love the song. It's good, but I would slightly probably make the mix a little bit warmer on it, or maybe fill it up a little bit more. But it
Right.
still hits right in with the rest of them. Like if you listen to it mixed in with like shuffling, you really wouldn't
Mhm.
probably notice it too much. But we are our own biggest critics.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's possible to be an artist or a musician and not be the person who's hardest on yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Um, everyone I've ever talked to in music, everyone has been like very like you compliment their song or something, and they're like, "Oh, thanks, man. You know, I that's cool. I kind of wish I'd have done this thing or whatever, but I'm glad you like it." And it's like, dude, just it's good. Like you don't have to worry about it.
For example, what you just told me about my bass lines, and then I went on a whole tirade about like, oh, well, I want to make sure they're good enough. It's like, dude, he gave you a compliment, just take it. You know what I mean? That
Dude,
type of thing.
it's I mean, it is what it is. Like you're kind of because you're always at least I know for me might be the same way for you. I feel like we're always comparing ourselves to what we're hearing and what we listen to
Yeah.
on the regular. So it's
Hmm.
like anything you do, or at least for me, anything I do that comes up short of that bar that's being set, I'm like, oh.
There
But
is something there is something new that I've discovered through listening. one of my favorite bands, I go from one of their records to one of their newer records, and I hear that the mix is different.
Mhm.
And it sometimes I hear one of mine and I go back to theirs and it's a little different, you know, and I'm learning personally, I don't know, anybody can comment below, or maybe you can even correct me, that kind of mixing is almost subjective. There's not really a set standard to where it has to sound bright or clear. Sometimes it's an intentional move to make it sound a little bit
Mhm.
more warm and muffled, and sometimes not as loud. And I just kind of picked up on that, and it makes me in this current day realize that I don't need to be so picky about my mixes either. As long as they sound good, it's a subjective mix. Do you have a
Yeah,
take on that?
no, I completely agree. Um, it's like there are acts out there. I think I mentioned them on the last podcast. Everyone's gonna think I'm like a big Wage War stan, but there's a band out called Wage War, and
Uh-huh.
their their newer stuff. I feel like when they do their harsh vocals, like their screams and stuff, it's not as bright or as warm as it might be on somebody else's stuff. Like
Mhm.
it's almost like they
Right.
intentionally throw some mud on their screams,
Yeah.
which
I know
is,
what you
you
mean.
know, and I think when you get to big bands like that, I think sometimes they do that stuff to help them stand out so that they don't sound so much like everyone else in the genre, because you do get a lot of sound alike stuff whenever
Yeah.
you get to a certain point of.
Saturation
Mhm.
almost. Yeah.
But
That makes it difficult for me to find stuff that I like, to be honest with you.
oh,
Like
just the
whenever it's
oversaturation
too
of the market.
saturated. Yeah.
Mm.
Like for me, like a lot of people talk about how they love music. They love everything. And I used to be the guy like that and be the type to say, "Oh, I just love music." A lot of the times I find myself saying, "Oh man, I really don't like music," because there's so much of it that I can't stand, and
Mhm.
I find that I'm very picky, and I think that's fine, you know. But it makes it
Yeah.
more fun for me whenever I actually discover a band that I like.
Yeah, I feel that. Um, I don't know if it's intrinsically tied with being involved in music production, but I know you've been
Maybe,
producing for a long time, right?
yeah, about probably just now 20 years, actually, just this summer.
Yeah, so very
So
long time. I haven't been into
mhm.
production that long, but I have noticed like I started learning how to do music production back in 2020 during lockdown.
Okay, okay,
So in the 5 years since then, my musical tastes have gotten so much pickier.
really? Are you
Yeah.
serious?
So
Interesting.
like, because
I
I
wonder if
used
there
to,
is a correlation there then.
yeah, I don't know if it's because you're listening for different things or you're able to pick out different stuff in a song when you're listening, because you're so used to like surrounding yourself in the different sounds and when you're in the mix process. But I used to be that guy that like it really didn't matter what came on. Like I would kind of jokingly bash country or bash pop or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like if a song, if I liked a song, I didn't care what genre it was in. And now it's like, even in my own genre of stuff that I like, it's like, it's, I don't know, man. This new stuff, this new
That's
song or that new song or whatever.
I think that's where I
So,
struggle to find the stuff that I like most is in my own genre. Like it
mhm.
has to be done specific and to a certain style. And that I know that means that my music is probably subjective for a lot of people. Like it might be a small market, but I am doing what I like to do.
Yeah, and I mean that's what matters. I just had a conversation on my last podcast episode where it's like if you're happy doing what you're doing, then you're happy doing what you're doing, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
a lot of people get
absolutely.
wrapped up in the numbers or the trying to hit it big or whatever the case may be. But I think as long as you're enjoying what you're doing and you're not actively pushing yourself to get more out of it than a good time, then I
Yeah.
think like that's fine.
How do you feel about number chasing and stuff? You yourself personally? Is it something you find yourself getting caught up in?
Sometimes it used to be a lot worse.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was like that for you when you like first
Oh
started
yeah,
putting
big time.
your stuff out. But
Big
dude,
time.
I when I dropped the first solo track that I put out, on my own here for the Rain Falls Red project.
Hmm.
It did way better than I expected it to do, and it's not like it did great. I think it's sitting at like 6,000, 6,200 total plays right now,
That's
which is,
actually really good. That's
yeah, but
really
it's
good.
also 5 years old.
That's
but
okay. Okay.
but well, I guess 4 years old. I actually put it out in 21. I wrote it in 20
Yeah.
in 20.
Yeah. I would guess. Yeah.
But but yeah, it's like 4 or 5 years old now, and it's got like 6,000 plays. But the first 3,000, 3,500 of those around that ballpark were very quick, like within that first year.
It just spiked. Yeah.
So then when I dropped my second song and it was like struggling to break 1,000 after 3 months, I was like, oh my god, what did I do
I know.
wrong? Da 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 da. And it's now I'm like, ah, fuck it. People are gonna listen to it or they're not.
That's exactly, yeah, kind of how I liked mine to hit at least 1,000
Mhm.
because you have that threshold. It actually shows a number on Spotify, but I think
Mhm.
that's one of the only numbers I care about really seeing like publicly. I am very giddy about my Spotify numbers going up. Like right now, I'm currently at 161. I think the last 10 followers, I don't know how I've gotten them. They're just, that's not, I'm not paying for promotion. I'm not, yeah, I'm just, it's all organic, and that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
That's a really good feeling.
Have you gotten like new people coming through the stream or anything?
A couple every now and again, and my streams have slowed. Like the traffic for streams have slowed down.
Mhm.
I, which is another number that I just stream because I have fun hanging out with the community.
Yeah,
Like
and it shows.
a lot of the time, it's changed. Like I used to care about Instagram numbers or Spotify numbers, Twitch numbers, and now it's just gotten to the point of like I'm just, all it is for me is just staying consistent and doing what I like to do.
Yeah.
And that's a blessing to me because it's I think very difficult to find that mentality if you get trapped in chasing numbers. I
Yeah.
mean, look what people do for viral content these days. For Pete's sake, it's just
Oh, yeah.
I don't want any part of that.
No. There's a point where it's just too much, man. Uh yeah, I think you're I mean, we've talked before. I think your mentality towards all this is the right one to have. So,
Thanks. Would I
um
like it to grow more? Yeah, that'd be cool, but at the same time, I don't think I want to be like a famous person where everybody knows who I am and every move that I make. It's just
mhm.
not
Yeah.
an ideal life to have.
Yeah, walk out the house, have to fight paparazzi to get to the car. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I
That's
just want people to enjoy the music and hopefully enjoy it in a way that it's gonna make them cry or make them scream in their car or just sing along to it and just and really have it affect them. You know.
yeah. It's there's something I think that's in a different way gratifying than I think a lot of people get to experience when you produce art of some kind, music
Mhm.
or visual art or whatever it may be, and people hear it and they're like, "Man, that's really good. Thank you for putting this out. This means so much," or "I felt a certain way," or whatever. It's like a weird sense of gratification that's just it's great, right?
Yeah. But do you also have that as an artist yourself when they tell you it's great, you kind of struggle to believe it yourself? You're like, "Is it
Every
really?"
time.
Like you're like, "Thanks so much, but how do I thank you enough? But and how do I kind of believe it?" You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Every single time. Every single time. It's
Like you
like,
put something, you're writing something and you're like, "People are going to love this one. This is so good." And then they say they love it and you're just like, thanks. I don't really
mhm.
know what to say, you know?"
And then the opposite too, where you go through and you put something out and you're very proud of it, but it seems like it doesn't hit with people,
Right?
and you're just like, what did I do
Right?
wrong? Like this sounds great. This is the best thing I've ever done, or whatever, and it's like just not hitting.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, so I think sometimes I've learned to not I try to not get too attached to like the personal songs. Like Empty
Mhm.
Fuel is I love that song. And I thought people would love it. It's like there's no screaming in it. It's slower. It's easy to
Mhm.
sing to it and all that kind of stuff. But like not really anybody said anything about it. I'm like, "Oh, okay, but maybe it's just because it's a personal song. That's why I love it so much. It means like
It
it's
means a
a
lot to
personal
you.
experience that I've been." Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for the
Yeah,
most part.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but it's like that. That is the kind of thing that makes me shy away from getting too personal with my music that I put out,
Hmm.
because it's
Hmm.
like I don't want to open up the dark place, right? And let people see that, and then people are just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
To me, it's like I the way I try to write, I tell people on stream, and I don't know, maybe you've heard this, is I try to write in a way that's not direct. I don't like songs that just tell you shot for shot exactly what they're singing about. I
Mhm,
try to be a little bit covert and use weird phrases or weird words, especially in my screaming. I'm very sarcastic in it, but it actually means something.
mhm.
So I want it to be open for interpretation or open to interpretation. So when somebody else listens to it, hopefully they can relate to it in their own way. And it hurts them just as much as it hurts me, but for their own reason and for a
Right.
good reason, of course.
Yeah. And there's something to be said about that kind of abstract lyricism, because it's not very prevalent in modern music today.
You don't think so?
No, you
I
used to
mean,
see
like
that kind
the
of.
top hits, of course, I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
you're right. But
Uh,
like deeper cuts like you and I listen to, like do you think it's still more common to have surface level lyrics?
I think they get a little less surface level, but they don't go as far as what I would call abstract, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, what's a good example of what I'm trying to say? So if you go listen to Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, right?
Mhm.
It's a song everybody knows, so it should be a good way to relate this.
Yep.
Nothing in that song tells you what the song's about.
Right. There are
Like
plenty
you,
of theories as to what it's about.
yeah, and it kind of means a different thing for everybody. And everybody really enjoys that song for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
But I think as we've moved toward a more modern era in music, and people are really trying to chase the numbers, like we were talking about earlier, or
Yep.
really try and get out there in front of a wider audience, I think it has become less and less common to step outside the box with the lyricism. And so you might get a metaphor here, or you might get like some kind of simile or something
Yeah.
every now and then in a lyric. But for the most part, I think a lot of songs now are not necessarily surface level like you get in like top 40 music, but I think it's getting less and less abstract as people try and build more and more of a public audience, right?
Maybe playing it safe type of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I think it is.
Writing for some like writing it intentionally so somebody can relate to it
Yep.
instead of writing for your intention, hoping that someone will relate to it in their
Yep.
own way. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like doing the latter. I think it just speaks to, I mean, all of this stuff. I feel, maybe you can course correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like a lot of my ideas or how I view things personally connect. It's not about numbers. It's not about writing surface level stuff. It's all about doing everything that's important to me, and hopefully other people tag along and enjoy it too, because it's about
Mm-hmm.
building a strong foundation instead of just trying to rocket to the top.
Yeah, and I think it speaks a lot to motivation, right? Because I think if your motivation is I want to make money, I want to travel and see the world, I want to put on crazy shows, then your reason for doing it is different. So you're going
Right.
to do what you need to do to make that happen. Whereas if your goal is I want to make music for myself, I want to make music to soothe my soul, then you're not as preoccupied with the growth and the reaching, being more relatable to more people at a time. You're trying to make stuff that you relate to. Maybe it's like your therapy, or maybe it's you need to really get something off your chest, so that's why you're writing it, and
Yeah.
therefore you're able to step outside that box a little bit. I think the motivation behind why people make music affects a lot of their decision making when it comes to writing and the way that they write.
I agree. How Where do you think it comes from for you
For me,
and why you write?
For me, it really depends on what I'm trying to do. I used to be super abstract with lyrics when I first got started back in the day, like in high school,
Hmm.
15, 16 years old. I used to, I wrote an entire song that is never, ever, 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 ever going to see the light of day. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should never say
Until
never.
now,
Yeah, maybe I should
right
never.
on this podcast.
Maybe I should never say never. But the idea behind it is it tells a story, but the meaning is different for me than it might be for somebody else. But it's very like outside the box, where it's like, um, it's called "Cry for the Fallen," and it kind of follows. There's a lot of Christian imagery in it because I
Hmm.
grew up in a very like churchy household, but not
Hmm.
Christian imagery in the way that you immediately thought when I said Christian imagery. I promise. Um, but it's like the concept is at the beginning of the song there's like an angel and he's watching other angels fall,
Hmm.
and in the for the purposes of the song those fallen angels become regular people.
Okay.
And the chorus of the song is cry for the fallen, and it repeats a few times, for they know not what they've done, cry for the fallen, and then it has a few other lines, and then the end of the chorus is cry for the fallen, for you may be one of them. But that ending line changes every time the chorus repeats, and it's like cry for the
Okay.
fallen. The first time it's like cry for the fallen, for you may be one of them. I'm struggling to remember 17-year-old lyrics. Um, but cry for the fallen because you may be one of them is how it ends the first time. The second time is cry for the fallen, for I'll soon be one of them. And the third time the chorus comes around, it's cry for the fallen, I am now one of them. But
Yeah, I like that. That's
it's
actually
this
cool.
it's the story of this guy that's like watching stuff kind of fall apart around him, and then he kind of gets caught up in it, and then he ends up also falling. But it's the reasoning is something that he doesn't feel is necessarily a bad thing, and then he ends up just
Yeah.
becoming a regular person instead of trying to hold himself to these crazy standards. And that's
Uh
kind of
huh.
the moral in the story of the song.
That's a very relatable song, to be honest.
um,
That's kind of if if you've grown up somewhat sheltered and or you had that as your childhood and you grow up throughout life, you kind of realize that the song is very relatable. You know, you kind of for you have become one of them because a lot of the things you used to view as terrible or bad, you realize that just sometimes it's just unfortunate
yeah.
circumstances that people find themselves in their lives, and you fall into it too because you're trying to help
Hmm.
or you're trying to change, but then you realize in the middle of it it's not so bad after all. It's not
Yeah.
completely ideal, but just sometimes it's reality almost.
Yeah, exactly. And then as I've gotten older and I've developed more, especially with songwriting, it really depends on the message behind the song that I'm trying to get across. So as an example, Blood Echo, the first song I dropped under Rain Falls Red, it's an anti-war protest song.
Hmm.
Um, and it's not super on the nose. It's not like war is bad, don't fight wars.
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah.
like it's not like fuck this politician or fuck that politician.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but it's like the chorus to that song is we're living in a nightmare, we're not okay. um they'll wage a war no matter what we say. Blood hits the ground, I hear it echo back, wake up before the next attack.
I
um
like that too.
and then it's got a second part to the chorus, which is I wrote it differently than I recorded it, and a friend of mine pointed it out after the fact, and I felt like such a fucking dumbass. But the way I wrote it was, I can't escape the nightmare. I'm not okay. Doing what I'm told, fire away. Blood hits the ground, I hear it echo back. Too late, now you can't turn back.
Okay.
Um,
How did you record it? What'd you say recording?
I
You
recorded
got the
it.
words wrong, didn't you?
I did. I recorded it just the same as the second half of the second part of the chorus is correct on the recording, but the first half I said, instead of saying I can't escape the nightmare, I said I'm living in a nightmare, which is just a rehash of the first part of the chorus, but with I'm instead of we.
Oh, yeah, I know. You feel like
So
an idiot. You're like, dang it, I'm just reusing lyrics now at this point.
yep, I felt like such a shit. Um, but you know, it is what it is, and the way I approach that is because I spent some time in the military.
Mhm.
So it's not like I wrote this as somebody who has no idea what they're talking about.
What
Um,
branch?
I was in the army.
Hell yeah. Thanks for your service, of course, by the way, if you don't feel corny me saying that.
It's fine. Um, it is what
My
it is.
brother's a Marine and he's like, dude, when people thank me, I'm just like, hey, you're welcome, I guess.
Yeah, dude, it's the weirdest thing when people are like, "Thank you for your service," and you're like, okay, thank you."
All
You
right.
just get away from that person as fast as possible in public. You go
Oh,
to a restaurant.
you just end the call now.
No,
The Discord call's over. It's
no,
done.
like in public, like if I go out to eat on Veterans Day or whatever, and somebody hears me ask for whatever the Veterans Day thing is, Veterans Day special or
Mhm.
whatnot, they'll be like, "Oh, thank you for your service," and I'm like, "Thanks."
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for thanking me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's I don't know what like. It sounds pretentious to say you're welcome.
it's a it's a good thing. Like it's good that people appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm
for
very
sure.
appreciative
Like
of them.
the thanks is appreciated, but it puts me in a very awkward situation because again, I can't be like, "Oh, you're welcome." I like you sound like such an asshole
Yeah,
when you say that.
just doing my duty, ma'am. It's like,
Yep.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
dude.
It's like the weirdest
You
thing.
could just own it, man. You could just be so full, like cocksure of yourself. Just be like, yep, I did that. I did that. Now you buy me a drink.
Yeah, it's just not how I am though. I can't.
No, I know. I know.
Um but yeah, so when I wrote that, it's a little abstract. It's not super outside the box, but the motivation behind it was to spread a message, right? So I didn't
Hmm.
need it. I didn't need it to be super direct. I wanted people to pick up on what it was saying and sort of internalize that a little bit, even subconsciously.
Hmm.
Um, and then, but when you look at the most recent song I put out under Rain Falls Red, it's very direct. It leaves a little bit of stuff vague so that people can relate to it in a different way, but it's very much um like the chorus is very straightforward. No, I won't forgive you. I won't forgive you, and I won't forget. Those are the chorus lyrics,
Okay.
and it repeats.
When did you release it?
Earlier this year, it was like April.
Yeah, I probably heard that one,
You
to be
did,
honest. Okay, cool. I thought so, but I'll have
yeah.
to hear it again. It's been a hot minute. Forgive
But
me. I'm
like,
sorry.
oh, you're fine. But it's not nearly as indirect as the first song, right? So it kind of depends on what I'm trying to get across in it. For that one, it was a bit of a personal thing I needed to get off my chest. I needed to vent a little trauma.
Hmm.
But I needed
Hmm.
to do it in a way that didn't sound like I was venting trauma.
Yeah.
So,
Tell me you're venting trauma without telling me that you're venting trauma.
exactly. I needed to be angry and I needed to get something out and I needed to get some skeletons out of the closet. So that's what that song
Yeah.
was for. So it was a
Yeah.
lot more direct because I was speaking to a particular individual when I came up with it. So
Got it. 10-4. Have you healed from it?
I don't think it's something that's ever gonna really heal, but it was very cathartic to put it out,
I see.
if that makes any
That
sense.
makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Yep. It helps.
But
Some of my lyrics are surface level. I'm not gonna say all of them are
oh, I,
abstract.
I
Like
think everybody has some surface level stuff, right?
yeah,
Like you
like
can't
blank
be
page. The lyric, I think my husband's full of shit. It's like, oh yeah, that's yeah. She clearly thinks her husband's full of shit.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Uh, yeah. I wrote a. Oh God. The first. I've been involved in a series of collabs with a project called AIMFall,
mhm.
and it's an acronym that stands for All My Friends Are Local Legends. Um, and the first song I did, I was kind of told by one of the people involved that it was supposed to be like a party song, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, I don't really party." But
Yeah.
I used to chase girls a lot. Uh,
Okay.
like that would be my reasons for going to parties when I was younger. It wasn't. it wasn't about drinking or smoking or anything crazy. I just was chasing girls. So,
Yeah, pretty much.
uh, my lyrics are very surface level in that track. It's literally it's hey thotty hottie with the OnlyFans body is the opening lyric of the song.
It's pretty sick.
So
Do you scream it? Do
I
you
do,
scream it?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's like a kind of lyric that I would write if I were screaming. That's something kind of ridiculous and wild.
Yeah, it's really wild. It's really out there. That whole verses. It's goofy as hell. And I'm low key. I'm actually really proud of the set of lyrics I did for that, and I'm a little sad that they got used on a feature that no one listens to.
No, no.
But
Sometimes you hate that though. Sometimes you write a melody, a hook, or something, and it's for a collaborative project of some sort or something like that, and you're like, oh man, I really should have saved that for one of
yeah,
my
for
own
sure.
things.
But I keep talking about me. Let's talk about you.
Fire
So
away.
you mentioned that you've been doing production for about 20 years or so.
Yep.
When you first got started, you were producing EDM, right?
When I very first started, I was making almost pop music, trying to learn how to make music, and then
Okay.
I was a huge fan of Evanescence at the time. So I was
Okay.
trying to make like rock type stuff on my dad's synthesizer. It was an Ensoniq TS12 was what he had, but we also had the TS10. So my
Okay.
dad had his own little studio,
That's
and
pretty
it was
sick.
like you would make it all on the keyboard itself, all the music, and you would save all your project files to floppy disks. And if you know anything about floppy disks, they constantly just go bad.
Yeah.
And it's like
And
it's the worst. It's
and
so annoying.
they hold no space.
They hold very little
Like
space. And
people are like, "Oh man, 16 gigs for a hard drive is nothing." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, let's look at floppy disks."
I I know, let's go back. And like here's the thing, I think my parents would try to save money, so they would buy huge packs of them. So they were cheap. So
Mhm.
I would have like 10 songs on the sound bank, but then I had to make more room for the sound bank. So I had to save them to a floppy drive and get a new erase everything on the sound bank. And then anything new I made on that, I'd save on a new floppy drive. But I would like make an original, then like 3 or 4 backups. And then every now and again I would lose all 5 of them.
Oh,
And it was
no.
devastating. It was devastating. It sucked so bad. I hated it. And that's really how I got started. And then at some point I ended up getting a MacBook Pro, a 13-inch at Best Buy, and found out about the GarageBand or GarageBand, however you call it,
Mhm.
and that you could make music on that. So I started messing around with that, and I was like, dude, this is actually insane. I always looked at making music on a computer as a complete joke. I was like, there's no way. Now this is working. Then I was getting into dubstep at the time. And
Mhm.
then my friend at the time was like, yeah, Skrillex uses Ableton. I was like, what the heck is Ableton? Looked into that, never turned back. Ableton is my audio workstation of choice, like forever.
Yeah.
I made made a ton of dubstep throughout the years, probably starting at 2012 and 2020 is when I really started to wane off of EDM for the most part. So
Interesting.
I was getting tired of the scene because I was DJing, I was
Mhm.
going out to clubs and stuff like that. Crowd felt too young for me. I'm not a drug user, so that
Mhm.
I lots of people doing drugs and I just was sober. I would have a drink every now and again, but that's it. But everyone it just didn't it wasn't my scene. It was too young for me,
Yeah.
realistically.
Yeah, it's weird.
But I
It's weird.
loved being on stage, loved DJing, making people move, especially to one of my bangers, as they would call it back in the EDM days.
Hell yeah.
But
Yeah,
but
it's
at that point, 2020 hit, it shut down everything. It was kind of a good excuse for me to. You remember 2020? I don't. Did you hear that there was a quarantine, or is that just in my area? I don't know.
No, you know what? I think that was just very localized. Like,
Just localized? All right, it was in my area for sure. No, but it was a good excuse for me to kind of step out and reevaluate if I wanted to keep doing EDM,
Mhm.
which I didn't. And I moved to a different city, stopped kind of stopped taking music as a front burner thing and kind of push it to the back burner. And
It's-
then 2023 came around. I was like, yeah, I want to actually make post hardcore.
oh, sick. So
What were you gonna ask?
you really haven't been doing that super long then, the post-hardcore progressive thing.
That's correct. Nah, I mean,
Huh.
I knew a little bit of acoustic guitar, like some chords and stuff, but then my favorite band is Dance Gavin Dance. A lot of people know that, and favorite guitarist falls down to Will Swan. And then I was just starting to listen. I was like, how do they make this stuff? Like, what do they do? And I just
Mhm.
started listening to their instrumental album. I was like, okay, there's just a set of drums. There's just a bass line, which actually carries the melody of the song. It's not rhythm guitar carrying the melody. So that's
Mhm.
easy. I can do that. And I was like, and then there's a lead guitar in the left ear and a lead guitar in the right ear. And that's pretty much it. Maybe some synth work. I was like, I could do that. I just have to learn guitar. It's like learn how to play leads. And then I spent 31 days straight for 2 hours a day learning scales on my guitar. And that pretty much did everything for me. At that
That-
point, I
it's so
started
wild.
just writing. And it's funny. I learn guitar not by playing other music that's out there already. I
Mhm.
play stuff that's too hard for me to play. That I write things that are too hard for me to play, and then
Mhm.
learn how to play it. And it just makes me a better guitarist. And it's funny. I looked later. I saw an interview later, a short snippet. Will Swan said the same thing. He does that too. I was like, oh, I'm on the right
Yeah.
track then. It was good.
That's kind of how I got started improving on guitar too. It wasn't at first it wasn't writing things that were too hard for me to play, but it's like I would tackle shit that was way out of my league.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I had been playing for like 2 or 3 months, and I heard Thunder Horse by Death Clock on Metalocalypse, and I was like, I'm gonna
Oh,
learn how to play Thunder
yeah.
Horse, and then,
Yeah.
so I spent forever
Death
learning how to play
Clock.
Thunder Horse, and I became like 200% better at guitar.
It's so funny, dude. I remember Death Clock. Listen to them in high school. Dang.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that
I
was the
always
right time
loved
frame.
I always loved Death Harmonic. That was my favorite by them, I think.
Yeah, I that first Death Clock record is something nostalgic for me.
It's pretty good. It lives up still to this day. It's a little dated, but
Hmm.
it's decent.
Yeah, like
But I mean, I've go ahead.
oh, I was just say vocally, I don't. It's not. It's never been my thing vocally, but like instrumentally, it's just so fuck. It's goaded.
Yeah, pretty much. The vocals were never really a hit for me either.
Hmm.
It was like kind of I think it was a meme band almost
Absolutely,
for
I
the
think that was
show
the intention. Yeah.
for Metalocalypse. But I never thought I would figure out how to scream until I met my good friend Nick Ryland. If you're watching this, what's up, dog? He's another great musician too. He writes and does a bunch of collaborative stuff, and we got
Oh yeah.
into a band called Body Thief and met each other through Discord. And we're still working on trying to write a song together. It's been a couple of years now, a few years, but it's just the timing hasn't been lined up. But anyway, he's kind of got me into vocal screaming and stuff, and nudged me in the direction of learning how to scream myself. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, it's actually not that hard after I did it. He, your face says otherwise.
No, no, you're not wrong. It's not that hard. I'm trying to figure out how to word it without. I don't want to piss a bunch of people off.
Okay. It is your
it's
show.
yeah. It's not that hard. It's not that difficult. And I think it becomes easier the more familiar you are with your voice, right?
Yeah,
So
1,000%.
like I think the people who have a hard time screaming are people that are coming zero vocal training, zero vocal anything, right out the gate trying to scream. Um
Just yelling at the top of their
just
lungs.
yelling and hurting their voice and blowing it out over and over again. Um because if you understand how your voice works, then it's a simple transition to, okay, I know how to do this. Now I just have to kind of back that off a little bit and change a couple things, and you're there.
Pretty much. Pretty
Like,
much.
especially I think if you're like I don't know, if you're like an analytical learner, right, or an analytical person,
Mhm.
um, it's almost like someone can describe to you what to do, and if you know how your voice works, you can just do it. It might not be great the first time, but you'll
No,
get
no.
it, and you're like, oh, okay, and then you just get better at it from there.
Let's pause. I
So
have to let out the cat.
that we knew it was gonna happen.
I knew it
Mine
was gonna happen.
mine's still out. She is out cold behind me, so
I knew it was gonna happen. I'll be right back. Sorry.
it's all good.
Okay, I apologize. Welcome back.
You're good. It's funny. Everyone, this is my third episode, my third recording, and everyone has had something cat related happen in all of them.
I'm a cliche. No, I'm a cliche.
The first one, the first episode, my buddy forgot to feed his cat before doing the podcast. So like
Mhm.
partway through, his cat just comes up and gives him the "I'm fucking hungry" look that cats give
Yeah,
you, and he was like,
yeah.
"I need to feed my cat." So he went to feed his cat, came back. The last episode I recorded, the guy's cat I guess heard him talking through the door, and started like scratching at the door, wanting in. So he got up to let the cat in the room, and then you had to let
Yep.
your cat out. So
Yep.
yeah, it's gonna be a
I
thing.
apologize for the interruption.
No, you're good. It's look, it's easy. I'll be in the editing, and it's just a simple cut and then a transition, and boom, not a problem.
Oh
at all.
yeah, that good call. We were talking about screaming. That's
Yes.
where we left off.
Yes.
All right. How did you learn how? For me, I found a YouTube video that someone said just kind of hold your exhale and then stop with your throat and then simulate being punched in the stomach and let that noise just transform from your throat into a scream. And on my own, I started transforming it to A, E, I, O, U, and A, so I could learn how to pronounce all of the consonants or vowels, consonants. So I could learn how to pronounce all the vowels, whether they're soft or sharp.
It's a lot more elegant than the way I learned how to do it. I love that analogy. Like, act like you've been punched in the stomach. That's really great. I'm gonna remember that the next time somebody asks me how they can start screaming. So I screaming. Okay, here's a little bit of Rainfall's Red lore. I was not into screaming at all when I first got started.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
I know what you're talking about.
I thought it required no talent. I thought it required no skill.
Oh, there's the controversy. There
But
we go. You still think there's no talent in it. Great.
Not
There
true.
you go.
But I
Okay.
thought the reason I thought these things is because I was young and impressionable, and the adult musicians around me at the time were saying those things, and therefore I would parrot it.
Got it.
So
Got it. Yep.
what happened is I was listening to Linkin Park, and Linkin Park, Chester does screams, right?
hmm
And I was like, no, I kind of like this screaming thing. And so I tried to do what Chester was doing, failed miserably. And then I put it down, and I was like, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. It hurts, right? And and then I didn't think about it again. And like 5 years went by. Maybe not that long. 3 years, 3 years went by.
Okay.
And we moved to a place. I moved a lot when I was growing up, and we moved to a place. And one day I heard my neighbor. We were like kind of in the country, sort of, but I had a neighbor that was really close, and then my other neighbors were not so close. But I heard drums, and I heard guitar coming from the neighbor's house.
Yep.
So at the time, I didn't even play guitar yet. I just played bass. And
Okay.
so
Following.
picked up my bass, and I went over there, and I was like, look, I'm gonna try and get in on this jam a little bit, because I explicitly did not hear bass at all. All I heard was drums and guitar. And yeah, sure enough, they were playing and they were jamming out, and I kind of got a crash course on how to play metal
Through them.
um through them. And then they had a vocalist, but he was very flaky. He didn't show up a lot.
Yeah.
And so one day, I was over there, me and the guitarist. That was the guy that was my next door neighbor. The other guy didn't live there. Um, but me and the guitarist were out chilling, hanging out in what I'll call the band shack. Um, and he was trying to finish this song, and he was hung up on lyrics. He didn't know what to put next. And
Okay.
so I was like, well, how do you want it done, right? And so he kind of gave me like a rough translation in how he wanted to hear the lyrics through someone's voice.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of went for it, and there was a scream in there, and I hit the scream, and not only did I hit it, but I sustained it for like 14 seconds.
Really?
And suddenly I was no longer the bassist, I was the vocalist in the band.
Sick.
Um
Sick.
and the screams were not good at all. If I were to go back and listen to it, I would cringe at myself super bad.
Yep. I
Um
know what you mean.
but I shoehorned myself into that situation, and then I just had to learn how to scream raw dog. I had no one to show me.
Oof.
I didn't have we had a computer, but we didn't have internet because, again, we kind of lived in the country and that wasn't a thing in 2009, 2008,
No.
2009.
Yep. We had
Um
dial-up in the
yeah,
country.
yeah. And so it wasn't like I could get on YouTube and be like, how to metal scream. So I
They
just
didn't
I
really even have that at that time either.
Right, so I just had to raw dog it and figure it out, and a lot of trial and error, and a lot of blowing my fucking voice out. I didn't do the
Jeez.
thing. I didn't do the thing where I yelled at the top of my lungs. Like, I kind of understood the mechanics,
Okay.
but I didn't understand how to do it safely.
I
Um,
still wonder if I know how to do it safely. I still question if I know how to do it safely. Like, my voice gets tired fairly quickly when I'm doing screaming. And it only if I'm out of practice, like right now, I haven't done screaming vocals in like a week or two, so it would hurt the first day just a little bit. And then I just stop. And then the next day it's way better. I can go for longer than
mhm.
by day 3 I'm back to normal.
It sounds like you've got something going on that you're maybe not being 100% safe with it. You're being like semi-safe.
Okay.
Um, I wouldn't know to tell you what it is off of what you told me,
hmm
but and I don't think semi-safe is bad in a recording environment. A lot
Yeah,
of
I'm not a live performer with
yeah, a lot of dudes like that do it professionally, when they go into the studio to record, they aren't as safe as they are doing it live, because they really want to get that whatever
Yeah.
particular sound that they're going for on the recording. So sometimes, and I do it too, sometimes you'll sacrifice safety in the way of the performance for the record,
Yeah,
and then
I
you'll
know what you mean.
back off of that when you're actually doing it live, um,
Yeah.
so that you can get through the show. So I don't think there's
Like
anything wrong.
oh, that's good to know. I mean, it's rare that I'll ever taste like blood. And if it is any, it's just barely. I'm just like, okay, that's my cutoff point for the day. No more.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably a good symbol to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. But I could probably count maybe the number of times that's happened on my hand, like maybe 5 times in total. It's rare. Or maybe a little more, but it's so infrequent and so little
Mhm.
that it's not like blowing out my voice or causing it to be hurting the next day. It's a little scratchy and like a little painful for an hour or two, and then I'm just back to normal.
Yeah, honey helps.
Yeah. You know what's funny also is that I've noticed for a couple months that my speaking voice, after talking at work all day and then talking on a stream, my
Mhm.
voice was very hoarse and tired by the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And just about a month ago when I started working on screaming vocals, it strengthened my voice again. I don't have that problem anymore. It's like screaming actually helps my voice. It's the funny part. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, cool, good to know.
Yeah, there are so many misconceptions about screaming, and I think they're almost all made by people who don't really know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Um, for the most part, like, again, I heard it all the time when I was growing up because I grew up around musicians. And I would hear like, um, I would hear people say, "Oh, screaming takes no talent," or "Yeah, they can do that now, but 5 years from now, they're not going to be able to talk." Blah 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 blah.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Same.
you still hear stuff like that today. They're like, "Yeah." I think the most recent example I heard of it. Do you listen to Linkin Park at all?
I used to.
So
Meteora was my favorite album by them.
I was a Hybrid Theory guy. Um,
Hybrid Theory is number 2 for me.
but Meteoria is my. I call it Meteoria because I got it off LimeWire, and it had
Meteora,
me in it. And it's just stuck with me all this time. But Meteora was my second favorite album,
yeah,
by them. But when they picked up the lady who does their singing and screaming and stuff now, Emily Armstrong,
mm-hmm.
she has this natural rasp to her voice when she sings.
Yeah,
And you can tell it doesn't hurt her because she does it consistently all the time when she sings. It's
yeah,
not like she's not. You can tell it's not hurting her to do it. That's just how her voice works. And dude, people who have no idea what they're talking about were all over the internet. Oh, she can't keep that up for a whole show. She can't do this. She's gonna da 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 da. And I'm like,
you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. I think screaming in music can, obviously it's not going to be everybody's thing, right?
Clearly,
But I think it has a place, and we're kind of seeing it now with bands like Knocked Loose and acts like Poppy being in kind of a mainstream setting recently.
yeah.
But I think it can definitely have a place with a wider audience if people aren't so closed-minded to it because they think it's not a good thing to do.
It's interesting to me because a couple of my brothers, I've gotten into Dance Gavin Dance, and they're not post-hardcore metal fans, but they really seem to enjoy the band now. That makes me feel good. So now they enjoy the stuff that I'm making. They like the screaming and stuff. And then just a friend, like a friend in my neighborhood, she's like, I like the singing parts, but not the screaming. Why are you yelling at me? I'm just like, I'm not yelling at you. Like, you need to understand it's an artistic form of the song. And then just a couple weeks ago, somebody said that we were in a group, and somebody said, yeah, I like the music, but I don't like the screaming part. And she was like, I like the screaming stuff. I'm like, yo,
Hell
what?
yeah.
Yeah, it switched. What? And it was, maybe she was drinking, so I don't know if she were just saying it to be nice, or if she were under the influence or something, but it was a nice passive comment for me to hear. I'm just like, wow, it does grow on people. It does.
It does. And I think sometimes all people need, I'm going to sound like a fucking drug dealer, but I think sometimes all people need is the right gateway.
Yeah.
Like, again, for me, it was Linkin Park. The screams in Linkin Park songs aren't heavy screams by any stretch of the imagination.
Not really.
But they got me started, and then after I got into Linkin Park and I was listening to them a lot, I would hear screaming in heavier music, and I would slowly warm up to that, and then I would listen to heavier music than that, and slowly warm up to it, and it became like a step ladder. And then now, like, fuck, dude, you can scream I listen to like deathcore and fucking, you can scream at me the whole song and I'm good.
Probably like Chelsea Grin a lot, huh? Chelsea Grin's probably a big one for you, huh?
Chelsea Grin's good. I like Born of Osiris. Lorna Shore obviously took over after Will Ramos took on vocals there.
Right.
But like, now I still don't listen to that stuff all the time, but I also
there's a time and place for that kind of that heavy for me.
Yeah, and I'm not like, I like to be probably a step lower than that on the heavy scale most of the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
But dude, sometimes I get in the mood and it's just like fucking deathcore playlist. Blow me away.
Turn it up.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm very picky about my screams too. I really heavily dislike the very common thing for screaming or unclean vocalists
Mhm.
to go into their words with a Y. Instead of saying I'm running, there will be like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm running.
running.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to do, knowing from experience, it's so much easier to do. But
Mhm.
every time I'm recording or screaming vocals, I make sure I start with a sharp I
Mhm.
or A or whatever. It takes more takes, but it sounds so much better to me. But that's a stylistic choice, I think.
I'm in a very similar boat. I'm not just picky with how you pronounce things when you scream. I'm picky about screaming technique.
Okay. Do tell.
Um, so God, I'm gonna sound like a fucking asshole. Oh well, here we go. I
Here
already
we go. Let's
stepped.
get controversial.
But
You might be dissing on me. I'm ready. Let's go.
no, I mean, I can tell that you haven't been streaming for a long time when I hear you, but I think
Mhm.
what you're doing every time I hear you do screams, you're getting better at it.
That's good. I thank you. That's
Uh,
kind of what I'm getting from everybody else too. I'm getting good feedback from it.
and you're going. My phone is just deciding to go nuts right now, and I'm very upset about it. I keep looking down and having to like send people to voicemail, but uh, where was I?
Screaming
Oh,
critique.
right,
Get
screaming
get
critique.
controversial.
So I again, when I learned how to scream, I had to do it all raw. Like I had to figure out what worked, what didn't work,
Yeah.
what hurt, what
Yeah.
didn't hurt.
That's kind of how it
Um,
is for me.
it wasn't until significantly later that I actually found a couple of like videos where people would break down specific things that would make your voice your throat feel a certain way after screaming and how not to have that happen.
Hmm.
Um, and
I could benefit from that.
if I had a singular solitary clue what that video was called, I would try and find it for you. Um, but it's been years ago now. But one of the biggest things for me is enunciation. I should know, in my opinion, if your song has lyrics, I should know what you're fucking saying.
That's
With
pretty much how I am too.
with a
100%.
with a high level of accuracy. Maybe not 100% of the time,
At
but
least
like
70. At
yeah,
least 70.
yeah, 75-80% of the time, I should know what's coming out of your mouth in terms of words.
Yeah.
When it's done stylistically and there is an intention behind you sounding like a fucking wild animal, that's cool. I like that.
That's cool, yeah.
But when somebody is screaming and I can't decipher any of the words, and I've been surrounded by screams for I'm 32, 17 years at this point.
Yep.
Like I've just been immersing myself in it. If I can't understand you, I don't want to hear it. Flat out.
I know what you mean. I went back to listening to No Shade. No, I'm not throwing shade, but I Set My Friends on Fire, their original album, and I'm like, what are you saying? I can't understand the word that you're saying in these.
uh
No
yeah.
shade. They're cool
Yeah. I
guys.
mean it's and I don't and I'm not trying to aim it at anybody because I've heard bands do it recently.
That's just so
Um
common.
yeah, and I've heard it recently, and it's not I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus or bash anybody, but
Like
it's
I
just
just did. Dang it. Make me feel like a jerk now.
it's a thing for me that I super like hyper fixate on enunciation when I'm screaming.
Yeah, me too.
Like if you listen to anything I've been on that's ever been recorded and released to any professional manner, I am 90% sure that even if you've never listened to songs with screams in it in your life, you can pick out the words that I'm saying
Yeah, you can.
with a high percentage of accuracy.
Yeah.
Um and that is what I expect of the screams that I'm listening to.
Pretty
So
much.
when I don't hear that, I am immediately turned off by it.
It's a thing where you can't just run your words together.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have those nice little breaks, almost like you're speaking, and it does make it way more difficult to do, but it makes it so much better to me. cleans it up.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
my
ahead, I'm
scream
sorry.
has evolved into kind of like a yelling scream too.
Mm.
Like yours are probably closer to gutturals, aren't they? Like yours are lower.
Fuck, I do everything, dude. There's a song that I was on with the AM Fall project where I had to fill a bunch of spots because, like, I don't know what the reason, but they didn't have enough people on the track to do what they wanted to do. So I had to
Mhm.
go in and fill a lot of spots, and I did a different style of scream for every section of the song I was on. I was in like 7 spots.
It's pretty sick. That's pretty tight. So you're well versed.
Yeah,
You're like
I
me with you're like me with guitar. Like I play things that are a little out of my range, so I learn how and I level up. You're screaming outside of your range, and you leveled up
pretty
pretty
much,
much.
yeah. I mean, I used to just turn on screaming songs in the car and just fucking scream with them to try and figure it out. So
There's one thing that I learned just through experience, because I do some like kind of law dispute type vocals sometimes too, where I'm yelling instead
Mhm.
of screaming. I like doing that too. I've learned that it is so important that your screams are in key. You can't just scream and expect it to sound good. It has to be in key with the song. At least the way I scream.
yeah,
I don't know.
if you scream with pitch in your voice, because you can scream without pitch, you can do
Yeah.
completely pitchless screams.
Yep.
Um, and I lean more towards those. I do very few pitch screams, just because it's of all the
It's
screaming
hard.
techniques,
It's so much harder.
all the screaming techniques that I do, that's probably my least proficient one.
It's one of my.
Um,
It's becoming my most common one to do now, and my most favorite because it makes. I have a clean voice where I'm singing, and then it just rasps it. It's like, is this a scream? Is this a yell? Is this a sing? I don't know, but it hits all the sweet spots, right? And I just figured out how to put them in Melodyne and pitch correct them appropriately. So, I
that's
mean,
neat.
if I'm slightly off note, I can still correct it. So it's pretty sick. I'm happy about it.
That's neat.
But I try to make sure that I get the take pretty dang close to, you know,
Yeah,
in tune.
that's something I wanted to talk to you about. Actually, you're very meticulous about
Mhm.
getting the take correct, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether it's on the guitar or it's bass or it's vocals. You will record something 7,000 fucking times
To get the
to
one
get it,
take.
yeah, to get the one take.
And a lot
And
of people are like, just comp that one bar in there. Just play that one bar.
dude,
I'm like, I feel like a
I've
cheater.
I've said it. Well, that tappy part that I was talking about at the beginning of this thing,
I remember, yeah, you
uh,
told me.
you
I
were
remember you
you
told
were
me.
hitting it, and you were fucking ripping it, and it was great. And then there was one spot on a transition where you were consistently flubbing one note, not
Just
even the
one
whole
thing.
fucking thing, just one note. And I was like, bro, just like
Just
make a
comp it in there.
just make a couple cuts and comp it, and like your world will be much easier. And you were like, yeah, I could, but I really want to get it, and you just kept going. And I'm like, you know
Yeah,
what?
I was so set on it. I was like, I want to prove that I can do this. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Plus, fucking, we're playing Grand Theft Auto plus 10 respect. Like,
I need the San Andreas music edit in right there whenever you say that. Like when you finish the mission,
yeah, exactly.
plus 10
Uh,
respect.
yeah,
Yeah.
fucking.
I I think one thing that I'm starting to do with my vocals is so I pitch correct my vocals. I thankfully can sing. I'm
Mhm.
very blessed to where I can sing live, and I don't
Mhm.
believe that I need autotune, but on a record, it helps to have autotune or
You
pitch
almost,
correction so much because it sounds so much better.
yeah, you have to have, in my opinion, you have to have pitch correction on all your vocals these days. You can
It makes
be,
it sound so much better.
well, you can be the best singer in the world, and you're never going to be perfectly in key. You're never going to
Yeah,
be
and that
perfectly on pitch.
in
And
autotune, the autotune they gotta F me up for it because like I constantly hear myself sing like now, and I'm like, dang it, I could have ended up singing that a little bit better. Or a little, I'm like, I'm
mm,
slightly flat or slightly sharp. I'm just like, wait, I'm in the autotune brain. I've heard my voice on pitch
mhm.
correction so much now
Well,
that I'm used to it.
and that's the problem with, that's why you have to have pitch correction on your voice now, is because ever since like autotune was invented, I think in 94. and
Okay.
became popular in the music industry in the early 2000s. So if you have to think, it's 2025. For the last 20 years, everything you've heard on the
It's
radio has been
we're
auto-tuned
accustomed
and
to
pitch
it.
corrected.
Now it's
So
even
you're,
so much of it happens live now. A lot of bands are doing
yeah,
it live, and I'm like I'm in between. I'm like, don't do that. But there's another part of me that's like, yeah, I get it because your voice is tired. You're touring. You want to put on a good show, but at the same time, I'm like, no, we want to see a live. I'm so torn between the two. I don't really have a foot in either camp for that. I feel like I'm
I
more biased to no autotune live. That's where my bias is, but
I am, for better or worse, I came up in an old school environment in music. Recording through a DAW and a computer was not something I had ever done until 2019. Before then,
yeah,
everything I had ever recorded was manual.
yeah, yep,
Um, and as such, when you played live, you played live.
that was it. That's kind of how I
And
am too.
I I'm not gonna say that I can't enjoy a show if I can notice tuning on a vocal, right?
Hmm.
But it definitely pulls me out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
I agree.
I'm very much on team no auto tune live.
All right. So I had a better answer. At least I'm biased toward no autotune live.
Yeah, I kind of I can see exceptions in like some scenarios where like, and these are in very far off fuck you cases, right? Like very few people are at the echelon where I'm okay making this compromise. But like there was a video a few years back. I say a few years back, it was probably like 8 or 9 years back. But Justin Bieber was singing in like a park, right? And all he
Hmm.
had for backup accompaniment was someone on an acoustic guitar. And Justin Bieber is, for anything else anyone wants to call him, the dude can sing. Like he can sing
Yeah, that
without
dude.
auto tune.
I have a lot of respect for Justin Bieber, to be honest with you.
And at one point, like he's singing and he's singing with auto tune, and his auto tune starts to fuck up. So he tells the guy, he
Okay.
like stops the show and he tells the guy, "Hey, you've got auto tune on my voice, just turn that off." And then he goes on without it, right?
Sick.
But I can understand why he would have it given his echelon of like fame and the
Yeah.
very small setting scenario that he was in. Because, dude, if he sings, when you're at that level of popularity and that level of fame, if you hit a note out of key, you're going to become a fucking meme
I know what
for
you
the
mean.
rest of your
Yeah, yeah,
life.
yeah. You got a
You know what I
point.
mean? But
I
I think
I
there's. Sorry, go ahead.
thinking more on it, I think like I'm even more biased to no autotune live. Like overall, I'm definitely for no autotune live.
Right.
But there is a part of me that sort of understands it too, I guess. I guess that's a better way to position it. I don't care for it to be used live. I think it's
Yeah.
better to just have a live performance.
I'm the
But
same way.
I guess there are fringe cases. We'll say that. That's a better way
Yeah.
to put it. I sound like a hypocrite or like a weak at the knees, but that's kind of where my stance is on it.
Yeah. And for me, too, like, I don't know. There's been a mentality shift in a lot of live performances, especially very outspoken performers live, where they're like, "Oh well, I want to give you an experience as close to listening to the album as possible." That's not my mindset with a live show.
Yeah, I've heard
Like
that too.
for me as a performer, not from a listener standpoint, from a performer, if I'm playing live, I'm not worried about hitting everything correctly. If that makes any sense. Like
Yeah.
obviously I still want it to sound good, so I'm still doing my best. But if I hit a note out of key, whether I'm on guitar or I'm singing or whatever, uh that's kind of one of the joys of playing live. You're like, "Oh fuck, well," and you just keep going, right? And
But
it's
if it's
about,
so bad, it's like a train wreck where there's nothing on
well,
pitch.
and that's different. If you can't hit anything on pitch, you don't need to be up there. You know what I mean? That's kind of my take on it.
But what about because there's a band, there's a long running band who does, as far I've seen a YouTube clip, they use Auto-Tune live, and they are a
Mhm.
long running band and have
Mhm.
always, as far as I'm aware, have always been able to perform without it. Now
Mhm.
it seems like they're using it heavily in the clip that I saw. Do you know that they're established enough to where they've done it enough and they do belong up there? But
Mhm.
nowadays they're using it, and you could tell that it would be bad without it.
Is it a thing where they're old? Is it like an old band?
Yeah, they're
And
older.
they're yeah, like are we talking like a Kiss age band or like slightly younger than that?
No, no, it's younger than that. It's not
Okay.
that old.
I was gonna say, yeah. I don't know, man.
It's
It's
tough, man. I think overall, no, don't use it. Don't use
yeah.
it on stage. And I agree. Like,
It's about the performance. A live show should be about the performance, not about the record accuracy. If you want
and if you
something
want,
accurate to the record, you can listen to the record, right?
or to me, if you're a band and you want something record accurate, hire a great live sound engineer. They will make it sound so freaking good
Yeah,
with the mixing. The mix is more
absolutely.
important, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And
Well,
the thing too
probably.
is people have to understand too, at both as a listener and as a performer, you have to understand that you're a human if you're a performer, and if you're a listener, performers are human, right? It's
Dang,
not
yeah,
gonna
you converted me. No auto tune gang. It's got to be
yeah,
human, dude. Come on.
yeah,
It's such a unique combined experience that you're sharing with people. No
yeah,
auto tune gang. Let's go.
people are you're gonna be different every night, or the performers are gonna be different every night. You know,
Yeah.
if you've played 6 months worth of shows on tour, you're not gonna sound the same on day 180 as you did on day one.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna. It's not possible, right?
Yeah.
That's the way humans work. But as a performer, it is on you to adjust your voice in a way to work with that. If you know you're not gonna hit that big fat high note that's coming up, don't hit the big fat high note,
Or don't include it
or
in your set.
don't include the song in your set. Exactly. You can switch up your set
Like
list.
me, when I should I ever play my stuff live? I don't think Cola Coco will be on my live set unless I find a good screaming vocalist, because that is all screaming almost.
Oh
I'm
well,
like, yeah.
you know where to find me.
Oh heck yeah.
I haven't played a live show in 10 years. I would fucking kill to play live. Um,
I have never done a live show in my format. I've done it like with piano on stage or guitar on stage, just kind of like acoustic styles.
mhm.
Then DJing, of course, but not with a full band type thing. That would be
That is an
that'd be kind of
experience.
fun.
You gotta do that at some point in your life.
I've done it as a small feature with my brother's band. They did Boxcar Racer Feel So, and I did the piano intro to it, and then I jumped off stage. That was pretty good. Cool, man.
I mean, that sounds cool as fuck though. Um, yeah, I'm definitely team no auto tunes for live
All right, yeah,
shows.
you've converted me for any commenters. Yeah, let's
I
you can flame me all you want, but I've converted. It's okay.
I mean, it is what it is. I just you
I'm team
can't.
no auto tune.
I don't know. I have so many more arguments lined up for that. I don't have anything
Good
against
thing I'm
auto
not
tune.
arguing. Good
Right.
thing I'm not arguing with you.
Right.
Because I genuinely do. I genuinely do feel like I agree, like throughout most of where my thought process is on it. Like, yeah, if it's a live show, it's a live show. Just let it
Yeah.
be what it is and let it be organic.
Yeah. Part of being a performer is adjusting to circumstances that are happening, right?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. And I could go on and on and on. And I guess to clarify things for people listening, I support using auto tune on a record to try and get the best possible sound out of
Hmm.
something,
Hmm.
especially because again, you've been conditioned for the last 20 years for everything sounding pitch perfect.
Yeah.
I just think that a live show,
440.
yeah, I just think that a live show is a different environment is all.
You know what brought up sick voice crack, by the way, that I had. You know what brought up the whole topic of autotune
What's up?
was the fact that I was just about to tell you, because we were talking about how meticulous I am in the guitars and vocals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I brought that up to say I am now specifically at a point where I'm testing this new theory out. I'm starting to record my vocals in autotune
Mm-hmm.
on the takes, so I can hear them back auto-tuned as I'm singing them. Because if the take is good enough in auto-tune, I'm going to turn off auto-tune and Melodyne it, and it's definitely going to be good enough. Otherwise, I hear it without auto-tune, and I hear a little shake in my voice, or this in my voice, that in my voice. I'm like, can that be repaired? So sometimes I just record an auto-tune just so I can hear it straight away. As to if it's bad in auto-tune, then it's definitely a retake.
Yeah.
It's kind of an anti-perfectionist thing and a time save.
Yeah, I can see how that can save time for sure. And I think it's actually, as far as I know, I think it's pretty common for people to actually track their vocals with autotune because it is a time save.
Okay.
I know, like, even big name people, Charlie Puth, the pop singer, he tracks all of his stuff in autotune.
Got it. I don't flatten it. I just have an autotune plugin,
Yeah.
and then I'll turn that off, and then I'll pitch correct it so
Yeah.
it sounds natural.
Yeah, he tracks all of his stuff in autotune, and he points to, he has perfect pitch, and he points to his perfect pitch as the reason he tracks it in autotune. Which, you know, that's whatever.
Okay.
I don't listen to myself when I record. I turn off my monitor when I record.
It's sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes it's off. About 90%, 80% of the time it's on. And then sometimes it's just one ear out, one ear in. So I can hear my voice in the monitor and through out to what I'm actually hearing.
Yeah. So I do the one ear in, one ear out thing, but without the monitor. I take a headphone off and I sing or I scream or I do whatever, and I don't listen to it as I go. And then after the take, I will turn monitoring back on and play it back and listen to it.
Yep.
Yep. And the reason why, it's not because, I think it's more of a superstition thing for me, really, is I know if I'm singing, and I'm a fairly decent singer. I don't I'm not an Ariana Grande where I can just fucking go, right?
Yeah.
But I'm a decent singer. I like to downplay myself a lot, so I don't like giving myself compliments. So decent is as far as I'm gonna go. But I can sing. And I have this thing where I feel like if I listen to myself sing being played back, and I do hear something that's out, I'll immediately want to stop the take instead of playing it out. And that's what comping is for in the recording process.
That's why you record like 20 takes.
Exactly. So instead of worrying about that at all, I'll just turn off monitoring and I'll sing it, and then I'll hear it back and I'm like, okay, that's a little flat or that's a little sharp or whatever, and I'll just kind of make a note of that, and then I'll sing it fucking 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 more times. And then after that, and I've listened to all of them, by the time I'm done, I know what parts I want to cut out of which clip and which clips I want to keep and which clips I don't. And
so tedious. I respect it though.
It's very tedious, but I know how I am, and the anti-perfectionist thing doesn't work for me, because if I hear it out in the process of recording, I will not continue to record it. I will stop it.
Dude, we all have our own process. I know exactly what you mean.
I know that that's like a dumb thing to do because comping exists, and I'm just gonna comp it anyway.
But it's funny because you say the same thing about me and my guitar. And you're like, dude, you could just comp that one part. And I'm like, I gotta get the whole take. So like we both have something where we're like, I know this is the long way around, but I'm just gonna keep doing stay the course.
Yeah, I think everybody has their thing that they're super picky about. The reason it struck me with you is that you're like that with everything.
You think so? Jeez, what am I missing?
I have watched you record the same bass line. I've watched you record a bass line, nail it, and you had something, it was like when you played it, it wasn't quantized enough before you quantized it, and you did it again.
Oh yeah, I've done stuff like that.
You played it and you nailed it, but you had like 2 notes that weren't close enough to the fucking start of the beat, and you were like, nope, and just fucking re-recorded it.
Yeah, I gotta reread it.
I was like, snip, cut, drag, done, easy. And you just kept going.
I
so
know.
it's like
Sometimes it's just fun to play it, to be honest. Sometimes like, all right, I just want to retake this. Like I know I can do it better and it's fun to play.
Yeah, and that's fair, and I don't fault you for that. It's just that's the reason it hit me with you is it's like I'm like that with vocals, with everything else. I'm not nearly that meticulous.
Got
But
it.
you are fucking everything you do. You're like, I'm gonna get the one take. I'm gonna get the one take. I'm gonna get the one take.
Are
And
you saying
it's
I should adjust my approach?
no, I respect what you're doing. It just
Oh, okay.
it's the reason it was notable to me is that you were like that with everything. And I mean,
Interesting.
in to your credit, you always get it in the end. So like you're not doing anything wrong.
At some point, yeah. At some point, I definitely get it in the end.
Whether it's
The
take
tapping
one
parts take a while sometimes.
whether it's take 100 or take 100,000, you get there. So
Yeah, yeah. That some of the stuff is like really annoying to get too. Like tapping, transitioning between different strings. It's natural to hear some string action. If something's too loud, I'm like, nope, don't like that take. Don't
are
like
you
that take.
are
Don't
you
like that
ready?
take.
I don't
Yeah.
know that you've ever heard this tip before because you mentioned how kind of like new into the world of what you're doing. So get you some like really thin foam, right? And go in where your bridge is on can't see my hand.
You're
Where
a
your
fret
bridge
wrap.
is on your guitar. No,
Fret wrap.
not just a fret wrap too. But take some like some very thin foam when you're recording and go as long as you don't have like a Floyd Rose bridge, which I've seen your guitar, you don't. When it comes through and it comes through the back of the guitar and it goes over your actual bridge and then goes out to the neck, between where it
Okay.
comes out of the back of the front of your guitar and then connects to the bridge, put you some foam in there and then use your like throw your fret wrap down on the end and it's gonna be crazy how little string action that you hear.
I kind of want to see. I'm having a tough time visualizing it. I almost need to. I need to see what you're talking about because I think this could help big time.
Yeah.
Like
It's
from where the neck starts and in between that and where the
so
almost where the pickups are, or
yeah, so when you look at where your picks up blah 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 blah. When you look at where your pickups are, right? You
Mhm.
have going backwards, not towards the neck, going the other way.
Yeah,
You have pickup, and then you have the part that
where
your
the strings
strings
start.
actually
Yeah,
come over, and then
yeah,
in between, like before that, you have where they actually come out of your guitar because you string through the back, yeah.
yes, yeah.
So
Or I string through
no,
something like that.
you have a
I
Les
have a Les
Paul.
Paul.
You have a
I have
Les
a Les
Paul. You
Paul.
don't
But
string
I
through the
don't
back.
string through the back. I
So
go
you have
into like a bridge piece
yeah,
or
you have a
nut piece or something.
You have a Nashville bridge, and you have a part that you feed your strings through.
Yeah, I think
So
that's what it is.
in between the part you feed your strings through and where your Nashville bridge is, right under there, block that off with foam, and it will astound you the ridiculous amount of difference it makes in your string noise. Because
Really?
you wouldn't think it would because you're not really that part of the string isn't really moving, right? But
It's a lot in your palm.
yeah,
Your palm will make a lot of that action.
but the slightest uh vibration on that part of the string, and it's the reason why people use fret wraps too. When you use fret wraps as intended, not when you slide them up to like the sixth fret and just completely dead everything past that. But when you
Yeah.
use when you stick a fret wrap on the nut, that's what the fret
Yeah.
wrap is doing, is stopping the other end where they go into the tuners from buzzing. So now you're stopping the buzz from both ends.
That's pretty brilliant, to be honest. And that's great for studio recording. That's
Yep.
perfect. A lot
Yep.
of the time I'm muting it with my palm down there. It would make it a lot easier. Clearly, a lot easier, especially for tapping. My tapping technique is I think it's quite unorthodox. I use the middle, ring, and pinky for my tapping.
I don't know that I would call
And
it.
and I don't use my index on my fret hand.
Now
I
that's
use my index. I use my index as a fret wrap to mute strings, and then I use my middle ring and pinky on
yeah. Now
both. That's
that second part's weird, but
yeah, dude.
using
It creates no string noise. I
yeah,
have a built-in fret wrap.
yeah. I mean, it's smart. It's human ingenuity. But the using these three fingers on your picking hand, uh,
That's
that
normal.
that's normal, especially if you're doing like multi-string tapping stuff. Um, but yeah, using your index as like a built-in fret wrap, that's different. I kind of like that.
Yeah,
Now I want to try that. But
it's
I'm
tricky, and I see a lot of guitarists have they do a lot of tapping with their left index
mhm.
on their fret finger, and I'm like, how are they muting the string so perfectly? Like, is it just skill? Is it just time and practice? And they don't have a fret wrap. I'm like, dang, how in the world are you on a high gain amp doing all that tapping and you're not muting it with your index like I do? Because
so
as far as I've been able to get every tapping part that I've needed with my middle ring and pinky on my fret hand so far.
so for me, it's my picking hand thumb. As I transition strings,
Hmm.
I'll use my either my thumb or my like
Your
ridge.
palm. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I will, depending on which part of the fret, which part of the strings I'm on, whether I'm on my lower pitch strings or my higher pitch strings, so that I don't confuse the audience. Um, I am either using my thumb if I'm on the lower pitch strings,
Hmm.
or I'm using my palm slash pinky if I'm on the higher end of the strings for muting.
Maybe I should look into practicing
It's
that.
I just rotate my hand. I mean, what you do works. I don't know that. That's the beautiful thing about music, right?
Yeah,
Is everyone has their
it
own little things that they do. I don't even know if what
almost
I do would be considered the quote
it
unquote
almost sounds
right
like it
technique.
almost sounds like it f's up your brain. You're like you're using your index as a fret wrap, the frick, to
Yeah,
mute the
well,
string.
it's just different. It's something I'd never thought of. But I'm very index finger reliant
I
um
was
when I
I
use
had to
my
really
when I fret.
learn how to just use that as a mute in my tapping, and I'm glad I did because it's a great technique for me.
And then the other thing too is when I'm doing like multi-string tapping runs, I'm usually not in a very stationary position. So I don't think using my index finger would be super plausible.
Got it.
Um,
Do you mean
the more
as a wrap
as a rap,
as a
yeah,
muter?
yeah, as a
Yeah.
mute. The more I think about it, I think it would be because I think there would be too much sliding on the string, and you'd get like that sound. I don't know if that came through
Oh
on
yeah,
mic.
yeah. No, I know what you mean.
So I kind of think I don't know that that would work the way that I tend to compose.
Now you got me thinking about it because I don't know if a lot of the tapping parts that I have are very slide up and down the neck.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just everyone has their own techniques. That's kind of the cool thing about guitar is everyone does stuff differently. I'm sure there's a right way to do everything, right? But I mean,
Technically, yeah.
the beauty of music is like everyone if you're not being taught,
As long as you're following the basic rules,
yeah.
you're kind of free to go.
Yeah. And I think my a great example of that is a lot of times, especially these days when I'm doing like guitar solos, I will not strictly adhere to a scale perfectly.
Okay.
You've heard some of that.
Yeah, I think so.
So
You
like,
intentionally go
yeah.
wrong notes almost.
So it's not. I don't look at it as wrong notes. So because what I'm doing is intentional, and if you're doing it with a purpose, I don't think it can be wrong as long as it doesn't sound
Yeah,
bad. So
that's
the
fair.
people are gonna call me a fucking jazz musician now, but um shout out prom.
Yeah,
Um
right. Hey, jazz
but
music is great.
jazz is great. But so like there's a solo that I did and it's in the key of F minor. But as I'm going through the solo, I will borrow notes from uh especially on descending parts, I will borrow notes from F major,
Yep,
because
I heard that. I felt that one
if
pretty
you
much coming.
if you go from F minor, if you ascend F minor and you descend, I'm a nerd. I'm gonna drive off like 80% of what listeners I have, but
We may have, because we're talking about techniques and stuff like that.
yeah, it is what it is. But if you ascend through minor and then you, or sorry, yes, if you ascend through minor and you descend through major, you're playing what's called melodic minor. So if you're intentionally borrowing those notes, it's like a classical music thing. If you intentionally borrow notes from the major key as you're descending, then you're really just playing melodic minor. Or another example.
See, I didn't even know that.
Another example would be if you flat. So when you play minor, you have what's considered a flat 7 in the major scale. That's the difference between. It's one of the note differences between major and minor, is that you flat your 7th note of the scale. So if you then go and you re-raise that and you play it where it would be played if you were playing it in major, and that's the only note you raise, now you're playing harmonic minor. So it's a different version of the same scale. So
see, you lost me.
It depends on where you like, and obviously it doesn't work in all situations, right? Like I can't just bust out that major 7th note over every chord in the minor key. So you have to play it in the right spot or it's going to sound like trash. That's why there has to be an intention behind it. But yeah, so I don't.
So
there's
it's definitely not at all a wrong thing if it makes it what'd you say, melodic minor or
yeah. There's a scale
harmonic
for it.
7 or harmonic major,
harmonic minor, yeah.
Harmonic minor, melodic major. Right?
Well, both are minor. Melodic minor just borrows from the major. Harmonic minor borrows a note from major.
Got it.
But yeah, there's all kinds of different things, and then I don't want to get too music theory nerdy here, but like you can play what's not considered exactly in scale, and if you do it with the right intention and you play it over the right chords, it still works. And that's why there are no rules in music.
That's pretty much. Long story short, that's it.
But so everybody can have their own different techniques, and you can approach things in different ways, and it all adds to the sound.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much the overall experience. That's music. It's pretty much no boundary.
Yeah, if you can think it and you can apply it, then why not, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's it. I got to wrap up here soon, man. You got any more questions for me?
We'll hit you with the last one. I'm gonna start asking this to everybody, even though it's kind of a dead trend now. But so Mount Rushmore, so 4, doesn't have to be in any specific order, but Mount Rushmore for you, artists or bands.
Mount Rushmore 4 bands. Dance Gavin Dance.
Yep, I saw that.
Royal Coda. Royal Coda is probably number 2.
Okay.
Pup. Pup's up there. I love Pup. And a 4th one, I think. Right now, probably Blighttown. Are kind of a not as known band as far as more, but they're pretty hardcore. And Dwellings is great too. I'm gonna add a 5th. Dwellings is great.
Okay, Mount Rushmore with an asterisk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check out Blighttown. Blighttown is an area in my favorite video game, so I don't know if it has any relation to their name, but
I remember I was searching the band and I was finding results about a video game. I'm trying to think. Is it? Let me find it. They have one of their favorite songs of mine, Algorithm. It's very short. ALGORERHYTHM. Super good.
I'll check that out. But okay, you said go ahead, I'm sorry.
If you like that post-hardcore swan chord type stuff, then yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I'll give it a listen. Okay, you said you've got to go, so we'll go ahead and wrap up. anyone who's listened this far and we didn't lose you with the music theory nerd talk or the different guitar techniques nerd talk or the auto tune conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been very appreciated. And as far as that goes, this is Eyes. That's I the artist on everything except Instagram, which is the artist.
Yeah, I'll send you my links.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you guys don't mind, give me a follow on Spotify, share with your friends, and add to your playlist so I stay in your rotation. That would be great. Appreciate it.
Be sure you guys go check him out, give him a follow, all that good stuff, and I will catch you guys next week on the next episode of
Thanks for having me.
Show.
Thanks for having me on the show, man.
Anytime really you want to do this again, let me know.
That's a good idea. I like that. We could do that.
Hell
absolutely.
Yeah.